Ready, go.
Okay, today is July the 10th, and this is the core team meeting, and we're going to get started with a better check-in procedure for teams and working groups, and I understand there was a meeting today, so how did that go?
There was a meeting.
Was there a meeting? Okay.
There was a meeting.
Okay,
I thought it went well. Sorry, that question. I thought it went well. One thing that came up, there was a little bit of confusion around sort of who should be invited and how and when. And I think I had planned, perhaps that's due to my original email being a bit unclear around this topic, but I think we discussed in the meeting, and I think I'll try to clarify it, is that we should really try to have, it doesn't necessarily have to be the team lead, but it should be someone in a leadership role, and that we should try to have a stable person and really just one person over most of the meetings, or at least a sort of stable small group of leaders. And like in the case of the embedded team, there was a few. And the reason for this being we want to try to use this to encourage like building rapport and more open dialogue and making it easier for people to talk, and essentially people will be less guarded if that's the case. One other question that came up that I'm having, I plan to post the minutes somewhere. I'll be write some kind of brief message describing what we did and put them somewhere, or just post. I don't know. Any thoughts on exactly that? If there's a best location? I think we have some minutes we probably have used years ago. Could put it in there, but that's all.
I realized I had one thought. So we've like lifted the moratorium on working groups, but we have not invited all of the working groups to that meeting. And so I think there's a question of like, one, should we? And two, like, how do we decide who gets invited? Not to like add more policy thing to, I swear I don't love that stuff, but yeah, I can imagine that people will see these notes and want to join the meeting and want to know why their group can't.
That's a very good point. I'm not too worried about the people feeling left out, but it's a good point to raise it up now. I'm only not too worried because I think we can say, we're just trying it. We're still getting it set up. I went through what's on the webpage, totally. Which is the truth.
I do think the secure code working group is going to be maybe a little confused because I think they're like officially established working group.
Agreed. Yeah, I think.
And then I think there's a question of if the sub teams. Anyways, I think we can work this out, but that probably would be the questions I would expect to see. So maybe everyone will just ignore it.
I found it hard. I don't know. We'll see. I found it hard to figure out like where in the structure to draw the line. I think we can, to some extent, leave it up to team. Like I asked the DevTools team if they thought it made sense for individual tools to attend, and they thought it's not worth it. And we can probably play with that a little bit. But at least the secure code working group, I think it makes sense. I can reach out to them. They should also be, if they are like, they should also be on the webpage in that case, right? So that probably is a matter of tweaking the teams.
I think it's important that all the working groups who don't have like a hierarchy up to the core team attend more than anybody else. So secure code working group definitely ought to be there. Whereas, say the cargo team, I don't think need to say anything because we've got DevTools.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. I think that's a good starting point anyway. Is the game dev working group, where is it in its...
In time, like with DevTools, I don't keep my finger on the pulse of all the teams at a weekly cadence. I keep my finger on the pulse at a monthly cadence. And so it might be useful for that, or we'll have to like figure out our own sync mechanisms. So it still might be useful to have DevTools sub-teams sometimes attend.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is that the goals of this meeting will probably evolve, but I think we're hoping to use it as much for surfacing kind of complex leadership issues as for just knowing what's happening, if not more. I guess I would say more so for that than for knowing what's happening, though both are important. And so in that sense, like, it's probably not, the cadence at which you get updates from the DevTools team may not be the most relevant thing.
Nico, you had a question about the gaming working group?
Yes, I mean, I'm happy to reach out to the secure code working group. I don't know the status of the game working group, but that's the other one that I'm aware of that is perhaps not on the list and could be.
I think the game working group would actually benefit from being included in all this so that they kind of get in touch with everyone else and can also report on what they're doing. I think it's a currently great need.
Is there a leader or a set of leaders that are kind of identified there?
Yes, Alex. Alex, I always forget the surname. Sorry.
We'll sync up after. Maybe you should put an item, Carol, to make sure to follow up with those two groups.
Yep.
Yeah, I have, Nico, I've put down that you are going to be contacting these two groups to invite them and get them on the website. Sound good? Okay. Anything else on checking in with all the teams and working groups? Okay, the next item we're checking in on is—
I have one thing.
Oh,
It might be very useful in the core team meeting to, at some point in this meeting, decide who is going to be in charge of the core team update for the next thing. So like, who's going to take point on the next sync up? Because we were very just in time compiling that, and I'm not sure it worked great.
okay, I will put that at the end of our agenda.
Cool, thanks, sorry.
Okay, next item is staged RFC, stage design, whatever we call it. Nico.
No major updates. I did. I started writing some things to post and try to kick off some kind of conversation, but wound up posting a preliminary thing instead. I think that one question I've been having is I'm planning to take a vacation in theory, and I'm trying to figure out how to have this conversation relative to that. And also just in general, how it kind of bootstraps a lot of our own problems because it's not clear what's the best forum for us to have asynchronous threads. If I put it in internals, I know I'll come back and there'll be 50 comments I haven't seen if I put it in whatever. So, but I think we do want to have some sort of conversation starting. So if people have thoughts on that, I don't know. I was thinking about trying to, I don't know what I was thinking. I contemplated whether blog posts might be a nice fit, but I'm not sure it makes sense here.
Just to clarify, for like the bootstrapping, are you interested in that being public and open or no?
I mean, what I was planning to do is to basically talk about, really focus on the Lang team and a specific way the Lang team can approach it, just to keep it concrete and kind of avoid stepping on toes. And also because I think it makes sense to start from a specific area and then branch it out to other parts of the project. They can adapt it how it makes sense. Some of the stages may or may not make sense, for example, although I think they're pretty universal. But so I was thinking of proposing it as a proposed Lang team process and taking it to the Lang team and then also asking others for feedback, basically roughly like that. This is the kind of thing I'm interested in, so I might be happy to.
I think that sounds super good. My thought was that if it was going to be for a larger thing, that we might do better a la the governance working group kind of shenanigans to maybe have a more complete thing that we've all worked through a fair amount before we publish it, because otherwise it could be a lot of yak shaving that could be really complicated. But I think the idea of scoping it down to just the single team is like even better. Like, yeah. Wait, I think that's a super good idea.
We've got the meta working group, which has been sort of talking about some of these things. The problem is mostly that, like, that's the Lang team meta working group. That's the basic.
I was like, wait, is there another working group?
No, it's just part of the Lang team that's been talking about this. And I think we kind of got lost a few weeks because of travel and all hands and other crap. But we're kind of at the point where we were ready to start bringing it outside of our circle, I think. And we didn't actually have a proposal yet was the problem. We would be there, but I think we can get there. So yeah, I'm going to scope it down. I think it's good to start getting people involved in the conversation. And
I also think that we should bring this up in the next all teams meeting to see if maybe a couple of teams also want to try things like that.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay, any other discussion on that topic? If not, then it's Florian's turn to update us on legal issues status. And you are muted.
Yeah, my famous hardware button. I have actually not been part of the last meeting between Sean and the lawyer. Nico, have you been? I know that the meeting happened. Do you have any updates?
I also only know that. I think they were discussing privacy policy of some kind. I don't think I will. I can get more details.
I'll check up on that. I know that they wanted to finish the policy. I'll keep you updated.
That would be good. Thanks.
Okay, Florian, white papers.
White papers. I'm still reviewing the one from PingCap. There's still a couple of things missing in it. I'm scheduling a phone call with Anna tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Core team RustConf talk. Anything to report there, Florian?
No. Do we
Okay.
get that abstract?
Anything about the website team working group, Florian?
We're trying to get someone instead of Manish and me to actually write the announcement and plan a meeting for a website team. We have talked to people in the chat that we want to do this. Also, the thinking behind it is actually to get a couple of other people to take point, especially on the translation side, because putting everything on me and Manish just doesn't scale. So putting out, having someone write the announcement instead of us pushing that all the time is, we think.
Can I get some clarity? When you said website team, where do you envision this in our hierarchy? I feel like I'm still confused.
It's currently hooked up under the community team. We can probably move it somewhere else because it's pretty isolated in that sense.
I think we should keep it on the community team. I think we should keep it on the community team. I feel like community teams really wanted a sense of purpose. It's cared about internationalization and communication for a while. To me, it feels like a super good match.
Yeah, I think that's a suitable place.
Yeah.
It's not my call though. It's definitely Florian's call. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep. I agree.
Okay, any other discussion on that topic?
I have none.
Okay, next is Manish. Anything to report on RustConf? Nothing? Okay, moving on.
Can I say one thing about the website? I think is probably worth mentioning. Just as
okay.
I think Steve put something kind of like cryptic in the chat, but it is worth knowing that it has become, I have become aware, and I guess some of us already knew, the final slogan we ended up shipping for Rust is the same as Go's, basically. My brain didn't see any difference. We might want to consider that.
I wouldn't say they're the same, but they're definitely use similar words. For what it's worth, when I first looked at them, I was like, these don't look at all similar. Then I saw, oh, I guess there's some similarity. But
well, we put emphasis on empowering. Go puts emphasis on simple, but I agree they're pretty much in the same angle.
Anyways,
is this something that the core team should be fixing or the website team should be fixing?
I think it is an ask of the core team to the website team.
Okay, Florian, can you communicate that to?
There is no website team. It's literally us two.
Right. So it's kind of the core team's problem right now, and the core team was in charge of the slogan and our marketing. I think it's worth us like knowing about it, and we want to open up that other can of worms. But the reason it's timely is Go released a new website that like makes it a lot more prominent as its slogan. So. Yeah, I just wanted to share insofar as like.
Yeah, the good question is if people like how will people perceive it, but we can probably discuss that outside of the meeting. But I think it's an important subject to consider.
I'm assigning this to Florian and Manish, and we will check in on this again.
Thank you.
Okay, CV postmortems. Nico, I bet you have not made progress on this, but you would like us to keep checking in
No,
on
I
it.
would like you to take it off. The next time it happens, I'll do it then.
Okay,
Doesn't
sounds good.
seem worth it at this point.
All right, it's coming off. Planning update for the LATAM all hands. Florian, you weren't at the meeting last time, but I think we are blocked waiting for you to send an email to all asking for interest.
Yes, that, but we're also blocked on knowing if we have a budget and who's going to take ownership as the entity running it next year. Will that still be Mozilla?
Although I think the number of people is going to influence the budget a lot, so I think we can pursue that independently.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Just want to say, like, that doesn't block trying to figure out who's actually going to be responsible for it.
I think that's the most interesting question. I think we will work out the budget. Probably, maybe we can get it from Mozilla in part. Hopefully, maybe from some other sponsors. And Manish made great progress on like hosting possibilities. But it would be awesome if we were able to build a group of people or organizing it that can persist. I don't know if that's plausible. What that might mean.
Okay.
Seems like something to discuss after, but it seems like a community events team related thing also. I don't know if there are people in that space who might have interest.
Can I just check in if the set of people you're looking for is the set of people to like find the venue and do like event type things? Or would you also expect this group to do like programming type things? Like not computer programming, but like what the schedule is and like what the meetings are and how it's organized? Because that feels kind of squarely like a core team responsibility.
I think figuring out the schedule can be separated.
Okay.
But
I didn't know what you had in mind.
I think there's a lot of like logistics and stuff that needs to be done that has nothing to do with the schedule. And also like bus passes, for example, all of that stuff.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's super cool. I just wanted to clarify exactly what the set of people was that we were looking for based on who would volunteer.
I was thinking mostly about logistics, but I think any way that we can slice it up is okay.
All right. Are there any other items for the open part of the meeting? Okay, then that concludes the open part of the meeting. Manish?